Alright, proper video, for now, I guess. As you can obviously tell, some things have changed, but let's not get into that because let's get into some horror, because my childhood was absolutely riddled with horror or scary stuff or whatever. So basically, Goose Boost made a video about THX and how the logo and how the 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 booming thing scared people. And let me just say, it scared me, and it scared the absolute crap out of me because, like, in the 2000s, in the 2010s, that thing is absolutely scary about how it absolutely booms. And it just absolutely booms and just scares the utter crap out of you. And my strategy, just turn it down. Just turn it all the way down. And that reminds me of a dream of what I had, or a dream or a memory. I don't know what it was, like, because it's so outlandish that it should be a dream, but it's so realistic that could be a memory. So basically it was me when I was a kid. Let me just get my camera way down. So basically it was me when I was a kid, and I was going with my mum, and she was going to see some friends, and for some reason, this friend lived near a theater, I guess, like a circular theater, with a main console in the middle. I mean, at the side of it, in the middle, next to the screen, and my stupid kid self decided to be playing with the console, and I was messing around with the dials. And I pressed a button, and all of a sudden, boom! And just like the THX logo just starts. The THX logo starts, and I am utterly shitting myself. Like, I'm absolutely shitting myself, and I'm trying to frantically just turn it off. Trying to frantically turn it off, and then all of a sudden, the Monsters Inc. logo, the Monsters Inc. Intro just starts, because apparently I was obsessed with Monsters Inc. at that time. Well, I'm kind of still am. Well, not obsessed, but I still like this. I still like the movie, especially the intro. Like, the intro was amazing, and apparently the Monsters Inc. Monsters Inc. intro was playing, and I was just frantically trying to turn it off. Because it was just way too loud. It was way too loud, and it scared the absolute shit out of me. And I didn't want to get caught by my mum. I was like 8 or something. I don't know when this happened, but it still happened. I still remember it. And speaking about THX, got it. Speaking about THX, that's like, does anyone remember the little robot that THX had? THX had? THX had like little robots, mascots called Tex, I think. Yeah, Tex. And the one I remember the most is the one where Tex was messing with this cow thing. If you were a 2000s kid and you remember this, cool. The dog's barking. So yeah, there was this cow thing where just like he just plays with it. He just plays with it and turns it on, but it's not good enough sound until he plugs it into the THX logo, and then just a massive cow barrage of sounds happen, and he just freaks out and just gets out of there. And yeah, actually, that reminds me, that was Monsters Inc. That was the Monsters Inc. logo. That was Monsters Inc. Intro. Or well, actually, the Monsters Inc. starting THX thing. I don't really remember, but Yeah, that's probably why I associate THX, well, actually, like the Monsters Inc. with the Dream, because of the text mascot. I have no idea actually, but yeah, I just spent 6 minutes talking about THX. Cool. Well, actually, there's more that I wanted to talk about, which is about my scary childhood. Which is more actually Grisly Tales for Gruesome Kids. If you're Australian and a 2000s kid or 90s kid, whatever, because the show started to air in 2000, a year after I was born, a year before I was born, actually. And you will remember this, especially on ABC, if it was on ABC2 or ABC3, whatever the kids show was, the kids show for older kids, not the small kids like play school and all that stuff. So yeah, and there's this episode that I clearly, vividly remember from my childhood, and I only just recently looked it up. And it was an absolute, like, it was less scary than I thought. Like, the show itself was less scary than, well, actually the episode I'm thinking about was less scary than I thought than it actually is when I was rewatching it just recently for research, I guess. And it was an episode called Watermelon Babies. Now, if you're an avid fan of that show of Gruesome Kids, then you would know what this episode is. But if not, I'll write it down for you. So basically, there's this drought in this Aussie town. I don't remember because I skimmed through it. And basically, these two kids, the two sisters, were absolutely abusing their power, using up all the water, and just being absolutely greedy, just being greedy bitches. And yeah, one day, their parents bring in some watermelons for them to eat, and then the sisters, being a smart bunch, decided to bring to school to share, and then they cut up the watermelons and eat it all to themselves. Keep in mind, for the kids to watch. Keep in mind, these kids haven't drank a bit of water for a few days, so they were pretty much cucked. They were pretty much devastated that the only source of water was just being eaten in front of them and just being absolutely distraught. So yeah, they go to the sisters finish their meal, just eat it all up, no scraps are remaining, and then they go home. They go to bed, and then surprisingly, they turn into watermelons themselves as they're sleeping, and their parents, being all sad about it, they put it on the windowsill where the original watermelons were, and then the same kids that witnessed the sisters eat the watermelons saw the watermelons, and ate the sisters. You can see how twisted this episode got when you think about it. It's like a kid eats a watermelon in front of their thirsty classmates. They turn into a watermelon, and then they get eaten by the classmates. Fucking scary, if you ask me. Like that general concept of kids be greedy, kid eat watermelon. Well, kid be greedy, kid don't share. Kid gets eaten. Yeah. So yeah, that was I wish I could tell you about more of Grisly Tales for Gruesome Kids, but that's the only episode I remember, because that one episode is the one I vividly remember, so much so I keep on repeating it over and over in my head. And another show that I forgot to add to the script well, show that I figured to add to the script was this show about phobias. Phileas Foe. Oh, let me just pause this. Alright, so after a little bit of looking up, that show is Figaro Foe, or The Adventures of Figaro Foe, or just Figaro Foe. And it was basically just a show about phobias. And I remember that show a lot more than Grizzly Tales. Because that show is still going on. That show is still going on, and yeah, from phobias like fears of the elderly, fears of dust, fears of being naked, fears of basically any fear, that this show had. Basically any fear that exists. This show covered it, and let me just say, it was amazing, and it was so nice. It was so funny and so cool. That's, yeah, Figaro Foe. I didn't really know how to implement this, but I just wanted to quickly add that because I just remembered it. But yeah. Also, speaking about horror and creepy stuff, did I ever mention that I saw a horror movie when I was a kid? Basically, when I was younger, I had the habit of sneaking out at night and watching TV. And you know what happens when when you watch TV in the middle of the night. You get either porn or horror. So basically, I got horror, and that movie was cut. And basically, basically that movie was cut. You know, like a movie that was also made in 2000. You can really show my age here because most of the shows I'm talking about were made in 2000. And that show and that movie was a horror or slasher similar to Halloween and not Five Nights at Freddy's, Nightmare on Elm Street. Why the fuck did I mix Five Nights at Freddy's and Nightmare on Elm Street? Probably because I was like Freddy Krueger. Probably because it was Freddy Krueger. Yeah. Basically, I was watching the movie for like a few minutes, like a few ad breaks, and you know how long those ad breaks are. And basically, I kept on watching until I got caught, which was about 20 minutes or so. I have no idea. And odd enough, when I was younger, about grade 4 or something like that, when I was about grade 3, 4, whatever, about 10 years ago, I bragged it to my teacher that I watched a horror movie when I was a kid, and I have no idea why. I was a weird kid, but yeah. Anyway, that was my experiences, or scary experiences as a child. None of them really traumatized me, and actually, I'm pretty glad I experienced it. Besides the horror movie, which I didn't really watch it in full, but I just happened to stumble across it. I was like scrolling through the channels. I was like, oh, this is cool. Let me just watch it. And yeah. Anyway, let me know in the comments or whatever, what is your favorite horror movie or horror moments or scary moments of your childhood or just in general. Anyway, thank you for watching, and yeah, jazz out. And this video is going to take it took a lot longer than I thought. Yeah, see ya then. See you in this video. See ya.